Hello everyone, this is Ronald again, and this is the final part of my test or introductory video for Dungeon Universalis. I hope this will get much more fluently with speaking and playing than the first try. There was a little bit response already, so I've decided to not play my campaign quest this evening, but to finish this as long as the setup is already made. So we are just finishing what we have just begun. In the previous video, the heroes just have entered, opened the door to the room. There were some enemies in it. The artificial dark player has spawned them, and yeah, there are a dire wolf and two warriors. Just for the demonstration, I've chosen to make, even if there's different standees, these are two northern barbarians of the same kind. Let's pretend these are warriors with an axe and leather armor. So this should be yeah, no problem for the heroes, I hope. And the dire wolf, which is a little bit tougher than the warriors, because he has a value point of 2, and as an indication for the strength in common. And yeah, let's see what we get here. The heroes party have won the initiative, so we have a full next round. Even if Lanak, the goblin, was the last hero to move in the last exploration round, with winning the initiative, a full new round starts for the heroes. So everyone has can make a move until the dark player's turn begins. So he can move all of his characters. Okay. I spoiled a little bit in the last video, so what's my strategy for the room? It's not the best strategy because the wizard could just throw a spell, cast a spell against one of these guys, because we have won the initiative and we have made the caught by surprise rule. We could move them like this and put them square in the front towards the heroes, but I don't want to do this. I want to show more of the melee combat and the range combat, and so we not make the best of the situation we can. So I just start with some shooting skills of Lanak the goblin with a short bow. So he has a combat value of, let's see. He has a shooting combat skill of 4 with no penalties applying to this. So he has he's shooting from the back of the target to the barbarian woman here over here. He's shooting from her back. Once again, these little numbers here indicate which is the front and which is back, because it's only on one side of the standee. So he has a range of 1, 2, 3, and according to our little reference card here, we can see distance to target 1 to 3 squares, no penalty. And we have attack from the back, which gives us +1. There's no cover, it's not flying, we are not moving and shooting, that's also important. It's not a large or huge target, it's not a small target, so everything's fine. We got a +1 for shooting from the back. So Lanak has a shooting skill of 4, +1 is 5. That's a pretty good situation for us for the beginning. And let's see, oh, that's great, 10. Already this would have made without any bonus, so we've made a hit, which is great, and we've rolled a 6. And each 6 we roll in this test will upgrade our damage. So we for each 6 we can roll an additional damage die, and Lanak with a short bow, because he's small, doesn't make too not much damage. So he's only rolling 2 dice for his damage, but +1 for the 1/6 we've rolled in the test. So the armor of her is natural armor 3, with her leather armor it's 4. So I need results of 4 or higher for making a damage. And Lanak is out of luck. He just rolled 5 and 2 1s. So he's spending a fortune point again. This. So he can roll once again the whole dice for the damage roll. And that's much better. 6, 6, 5, which make her bleed. 3 damage to her, lying here, lying down there, and she has, that's the direwolf, she only has 4 hit points, so she's wounded now. Whenever a character, whether a hero or a mercenary, those all are characters, whenever a character has only 1 hit point left, he or she gets wounded, which makes her, him or her, have a penalty on all attributes except hit points and natural armor of -1. So she can only move 4. She has a combat skill of 3. She has a strength of 2. Oh. That's not good. A combat skill of 2 is a strength of 2, a shooting skill of 2, an agility of 2, so of 1 because she only has 2, of course, because of her leather armor, and intelligence isn't raised, isn't penalty 2, I guess. Okay. I'll check this in the manual. Okay, we have it here. I have a cheat sheet here over here. Nope. Nope. I'm sorry. I'll write it down in the comments. Okay. It's not important for the current situation. So everything we need to know is that she can't run anymore. She can't take the action running, and she can has penalties to all her combat skills and strength and so on. So she's wounded. Very great. The goblin will now move into the room. 1, 2, 3, 4 over here, because I hope he can won't be the target of the enemies, because I hope there aren't so many enemies if we are done here. And from there he can shoot again, or he can use his if he goes to melee, he can use his scimitar he's wearing, and I guess it's better for the case the enemies will attack him. It's better to equip the scimitar for melee for defense. So I use a quick action to do this. You can do the main action. You can do like searching corpses, searching rooms, running, and melee, casting spells. Those are all actions. You have 1 action per turn, per activation, per character. You can do before or after movement, but not within movement. You cannot hold on, move 2 squares, do a main action, and then do the rest of the movement. So you always have to do for before or after moving. Then there are quick actions like changing weapons, or drinking a potion or something, or applying poison to your weapon or something. These quick actions can be made while with a movement. And you can have 1 quick action per activation, and 1 action per activation, or you can exchange the action for another quick action. So let's do this. Larnak is now using his scimitar, so he has a better melee defense, and he can go into melee in the next round. Okay, then I guess she will activate. she moves. No, she even has to move. She will just cast yeah, what to do. She will move one step in the front, and she will throw a fireball onto the dire wolf. As I said in the last video, I don't want to explain the spells in detail. I don't want to show you the card, and maybe it's not how the fireball is really working. Let's pretend the fireball will make damage of 6 dice against the target, and so she has an intelligence value of 5, and so to pass the test you need a 10 as always. So we just have to roll a 5 to make the spell happen. And let's do this. I moved one step, now my movement is over. After casting the spell, which is an action, I cannot do this again, but I hope it will work, and it does. A 7. Also here, if she would have rolled a 6 or 2 6s, she would get another damage roll, an additional damage roll, not a damage roll, a damage die, excuse me. But now I said 6, and let's see if this could knock out, which is another turn for kill, the dire wolf. Oh, that looks very good. Just check. The dire wolf has a natural armor of 3, so every die with 3 or better or higher would make a damage, a wound, and we have 5 of them. We have just 1, 2, and the rest is a damage. Causes a wound. 5 against 5 is instant death, and we can remove him. That was easy. And that was casting a spell. So after that we have just one guy left. It's the warrior. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Now he's standing in the melee range of these guys. So even if he had another movement point, he couldn't use it because he's now standing in his melee range and they are engaging him in combat. He cannot move again. He just can make a disengage test with against agility in the next round, and then his next activation. So if he succeeds, he can step a field back and then proceed with his movement as usual, with movement, with actions, and so on. If he loses this, if he fails the agility test, his activation will be over, which isn't great. So there's always the choice between using your melee attack to attack an enemy, or to try to disengage if you want to flee. Yeah, and that's all. So another important point is, if you are in melee range of an enemy character and he's not engaged otherwise with another character of yours, so for example if there are 2 of my guys, this one would be engaged with both. So one of these guys of my gang could just leave because the other one is already still engaging him, or the other way around wouldn't work because he would be engaged by her. So that's how that works. Okay, but now he's in melee range. In the previous video I told he's using an halberd, which is in fact a long-range weapon. We ignore this for this video because it will make much more complex. So we just use it as a standard weapon with a melee range of 1, like the axes here of these guys. And yeah, he's attacking from behind because they're still looking at the back of the room. We can check the melee card here, the reference card, and take. We have modifiers. The rival has no cover in this case. It's not an elevated position. It's an attack from the back, so +1 for the attacker, and the defender couldn't use his shield if he had anyone. It's not a stationary target. I haven't drawn my weapon. It's a long range weapon, as I told before. So we get a +1 And Croxor has a 4 in his combat skill. So he would will have a bonus of +4 for this roll, and I decide to roll it against her, so to take her out. Yeah, one enemy less to care about. I make the roll. Oh no, we have to do an opposing roll. So she's fighting with her combat skill in melee, and I'm fighting with my combat skill. Let's see. That looks pretty good for me and not for her. She's only 4 plus her combat skill of 3 minus 1 because she's wounded, which makes her having a 6 in a result. I have a 9 plus a 5 for 4 from my skill plus 1 from attacking from behind. So this is a 14. This we don't have to talk anymore about this. We have made a hit with 4 damage die. Also here, like like ranged attacks, like magic attacks, if I had rolled 6 or 2 6s, each one of them would let me roll 1 additional damage die. So we haven't done this. Let's roll 4. Once again, against her armor of 4, 3 natural armor plus 1 from her leather armor. Each die of 4 or higher is a hit. We only would need 1. We have 3. That's it for her. Bye-bye. See you again next time when I make this video again in Polish or whatever language I will learn until that. I just say that because I have made the almost the same video for the German audience. It's the same setup, the same guys, the same enemies, and this is a re-recording of this video in English. Okay, so what's the situation now? All of my heroes have activated. My turn is over, and the situation is this guy is at full health. The same thing for my heroes. He is engaged by my warrior, so he cannot move around, as I've told you just 5 minutes ago, because he's engaged. So the only options he has is to turn around in his activation, and if he can disengage from combat, or he can attack in melee. These are the only options, besides from quick actions like changing weapon, but that's not, he won't do this. But what happens now at the beginning of the turn of the dark player? He will roll a die, the scenario die, for power, and power is to power up the enemies. So let's see. And perfect as always, when I record these videos, we have a power symbol, so we take the card. Let's check. Oops. Wrong. Oh my bad. I'm so sorry, it's late. That's fun. Of course, this is not the power symbol, this is encounter, and that's the reason why I just drew the card from the wrong deck. This is the power icon, and it was not a match. So let's just delete the last 20 seconds from our memories. Let's pretend the artificial dark player would have rolled this icon, and we take a card, we draw a card from the power deck. Haha, it's power. He has to pay 2 reserve points. Otherwise, if he couldn't play this card, he would discard it for 2 points. So he will play. I lower his account, and let's see. Outstanding warrior. One creature of the dark player's choice gets a +1 to its common skill and strength until the 8 on the engagement. A creature can't benefit from the skill from this card and skill for at the same time. Okay, blah blah. Use the card at the beginning. Yep. Okay. Before activating creatures, we only have one creature or enemy or opponent or whatever. It's all the same. So this will apply to that warrior. So what the card says is that he hasn't only a combat skill of 3. He has 4 now, and he has a strength of 4 now. Okay, strength is very important because for the melee weapons, the strength is always important. It's the base value of damage you will make, of the damage dice you roll. So it's very thematically because you have the same weapon, but if you're a 2 meter high warrior, you will make with the same weapon more damage when hitting as when a small goblin will use the same weapon because just of the strength. And yeah, that's very thematically. Okay, let's see what happens next. This guy will activate, and how does he activate? We have AI cards for this. Because he's a melee fighter, we take the card for melee fighter, which is a great option. It never disengages from an enemy, so it's clear that he won't do this, what I just told you what he could do, the 2 options. But he won't do. And after winning a combat while attacking, it always pushes enemies and occupies their space. I will show you, I will demonstrate what's going on with this rule. We haven't had this before, but because the redhead barbarian woman died after hitting her, I skipped that. And if it has 1 or more throwing weapons, no, it doesn't have, and creatures will level up. We skip this. Important is it never disengages, so it will attack in melee, and after winning it will push and take the field. Let's see what happens. He will make an attack against my warrior because it's the only character he can reach. It's an opposing roll. It's not hitting from behind or something, so just 4 of his skill is 4 now because of the power card of the dark player, and my roll, my bonus is also of Croxor is also 4. So it's an even situation. Let's see. Oh, poor Croxor. Croxor has just made a blunder. The warrior has 1 with his 5 plus 4 is 9, and this is always bad. This will cause that Croxor will lose his weapon because this is a critical failure, and now he will lose his weapon. And also we have to do a breaking roll. Yes, when you drop your weapon or you drop your shield, you have to do a breaking roll, and if this will be a bad result again, the weapon will be broken. I don't want to make this example here too complex. Just pretend we make a reroll. Croxor could spend a fortune point to reroll his dice. He will do this, and let's pretend he will have lost it, but not with the blunder. So this is the end result. Because I want to show you what happens if this guy will win the hit against him. And yeah, he will roll his damage die. He has a strength of 4 now because of the card, of the power card. So he does 4 damage plus 1, if I remember correctly, for the axe. So let's do 5 damage die. Croxor has a breastplate. He needs 6s, and he does have 2 6s. So Croxor will get 2 damages, 2 wounds. That's it. So he has won. Even if he wouldn't have made any damage, he could push Croxor now, because he just has won the hit, the combat. They are fighting around in melee, swinging their swords, and he hit Croxo, so he can push him in the one square to the back. Let's place him here, and then he has the choice. He don't have to, but he has a choice to take the previous position of Croxo, and he will, because just of the very best reason, because it's on the card, and occupies the space. Yeah, he won't move to the empty square if it makes it and adjacent to an enemy. So that means he wouldn't have moved here, because after that he would be adjacent to him. So that's it. If you cannot move back because there are no fields around, you will make an additional damage die just for pushing, which is great in some situations. So that was the activation of the only creature left for the dark player. So it's the hero's turn again. Let's see if we can handle this guy, but I'm very positive in this. Let's start with Croxo. This card is gone now. The power card, I discarded. So Croxo will take revenge for the hit. He tries to. Whoops. And he's bad. He will spend a fortune point. Yep. 9 for Croxo plus his 4 is 13. 8 for the warrior with his attribute of combat skill of 3 again. It's just an 11. It's a victory for Croxo. And for damage die again. Against, once again, 4 because of the leather armor of the warrior. So we have 3 hits. And he has 4 life points, and if you're remembering, this means he will get the condition wounded. Make him weaker in all of his attributes, or most of his attributes. And Croxo also wants to push him back and take his previous position, to have him still engaged in combat. So it's now Larnak or Krix, my wizards, my female wizards, turn to eliminate him. And in the last round, I said Larnak changed his weapon, his bow, to a scimitar, so he couldn't shoot without any penalties, because if he would change back to his bow, he would get a -1 for changing weapon and using it in the same turn. And so I'm going to be a brave little goblin and go to melee. And this is yeah. If the enemy will survive this round, Larnak will have a problem because of the AI card. The general AI behavior is always to choose the target which is most easy to hit. So this guy would use Larnak as a target for his melee combat, which is quite logical to me. And yeah. That could end very bad for Larnak, because he's a lot weaker than the warrior. So, okay, but let's make a hit. And we have an 8 plus Larnak's 4 in combat. The warrior has 6 plus his 3. That's already this shows that he has lost. So Larnak can roll for a hit. I guess he has 4 damage die. Let's see. Alright, this guy's gone. History. Yes, victory. Now we are in a dead end at the end of the corridor there are no other doors, but it's just a demonstration. To demonstrate just another thing, let's rewind the last action. I could have used Larnak to run around this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to go in his back. This is a strategy you can do because attacking from behind, you have seen this in the melee combat, gives you attack from behind gives you a +1 for the attacker. But this cannot be used. The other way around. It can only be used if you are starting your turn from a position in the back of the guy you want to attack. So if Larnak would have come from here and go after him, behind him, sorry, he could benefit from this, but he was in the front of this guy, and so he couldn't benefit from this bonus this round. But in the next round, if this guy won't turn around, he could use it, or if he will turn around because he will attack one of these guys, he will attack Larnak, we just talked about it, but if he will turn around, then our warrior Croxor can benefit from attacking from behind. In one of the next turns, because he just turned around, and that he is also not starting his activation from in his back. That's one of these little rules that are making done so great, because you have to interpret it a little bit. I think you have to, in the case he will activate so and turn around, it's not attacking from behind. Yeah, we could discuss this at Board Game Geek in the Facebook group. No, okay. But this is a movement you can make. You can run around this guy to attack from multiple sides. Because you have I didn't explain it in this video at all, only did it in the German version. I'm sorry for it. In Dungeon Universalis, you have a front and a back. So if this guy is standing here, just for demo purposes, and he's looking into this direction, he has some squares of his front starting with this is the front of the character, also this and this. If the 3 squares in his back, this and this, are the fields in his back. So when attacking him from one of these positions, or with long range from here, you will gain the bonus. And you have not only the standard directions, you also have the diagonally. You have this and this and this and this as a direction to face, and this means you have, in the case you're standing in this way, the front of the character is the same. It's this, plus this, and the back are the 3 squares in his back. Just rotated a little bit the square. Okay. I guess this was it. Another thing I can show in this little demo is Crix, my wizard, could have walked into this room about here. Larnak was staying here and cast her fireball. Maybe not most, many, let's say many of the spells have an area of effect. Now I'll show you the magic card of a spell with it. Spell card. Let's see. Where's a good example? So we have ice arrows. This is a spell card. I don't want to get into many details, but you have that area of effect. and this is 1. This means you have a target, this guy, and all the squares around him are in the area of effect, and the text tells it: choose a target, cast or cast several ice arrows that cause 5 damage dice, and all characters adjacent to target suffer 3 damage dice. So, this is an important point. You have several spells where the adjacent enemies or the adjacent characters are taking damage dice. In this case, it's characters. If my Crix would have casted that spell against him, my own allied character, Croxer, would also get the damage because he's standing adjacent to him. Yeah, that's the reason, and this would also apply to the Fireball spell, I guess, which I choose for the demo. And I just wanted to tell you about that. This is a rule. That there are rules for this, and yeah, that's it. I guess that's all I have to say for now. It's an easy demonstration of a combat within a dungeon, and yeah. I'm out of text now. I've shown you a little bit in the previous video about traps the dark player can play, about power cards, about the encounter cards to spawn enemies. We have a lot of power cards, just reserve pointer increase to fill up your reserve pointer account to pay more cards. You have fortune points for enemies. You have fear, causing fear to the heroes and make them less effective. Skillful, diseased, stealthy creature, accuracy. There are many power cards. So I guess the deck is this size and at the full size. And yeah, there are a lot of obstacle cards. Let's see what's here in it. In my demo, you can lock the doors, which is an absolutely brilliant feature, making the enemies behind the door stronger, because if the heroes have to break the door, if they can't get in stealthy, they have to break the door if they want to enter the room. And with each round they need to destroy the door, the enemies behind the door will get a +1 to their initiative. So if you have a strength door, there's already also an upgraded version of this card, a reinforced door. You will need at least 3, 4, 5 rounds, and this means the enemies behind the door will get an initiative raise of this. You have several traps, poison dart, poisonous gas. Yeah, this is just so small part of all the cards and the stuff coming with done. And I hope this introduction could give you some good examples why you should watch more videos about this, maybe from other guys. There are many English videos now showing some quests, I guess, and maybe I will do some more videos in English. I will make for the German guys. I will do some videos about the rules of ranged attacks, of melee attacks, of the magic, and I've already made a video about the campaign turn, and I've played a full epic event with videos for setup, for strategy, and for the action. And yeah, let's see how your feedback is, and if you also want to have more videos from me, I think I can do this too. And yeah, I'd be happy to get some feedback to if this is helpful for you. Maybe you have some topics you want to see, you want to have explained, and I can do this. But I'm absolutely not a professional player in this. I'm a solo player, which is very hard for done, because you have no one to talk about. You have you have to play the dark player too. You have to move your heroes. You have to move your mercenaries and so on. And so I've read the the rulebook many times. I've discussed at BGG and in the Facebook group. I've made some tables and I've reworked the skills to make it easier to read for me. I've done some character sheets and uploaded them to Boardgame Leaks for handling enemies like this, to track their effective stats, and a lot of more, just to make it work for me as a solo player. But I'm definitely not a professional in this. I really often have questions for myself, yeah, I have some experience, but I'm not a professional player. Okay, that's it for now, and I hope you have a great evening. I flee from my garage here, 28 degrees at now, and yeah, maybe I go and play the quest I wanted to play, and yeah, maybe we can come and talk about it. Have a nice evening. Bye.